Hare Krishna. A question that many people are concerned with, uncertain about, is the question of good and bad. How can we judge what is good and what is bad? So many discussions about this subject, and mostly there is no conclusion. The modern philosophy is that we define ourselves what is good and what is bad. It's a type of anarchy. If you think it is good, then for you it is good. If you think it is bad, then that is your standard, and we should respect that. But in the practical world, this philosophy breaks down, because if I think that it is good to go and steal your money, for instance, or your wife, then that will cause a big problem. You will not, somebody else will, he will not be able to accept that this is your standard, therefore I should respect. We cannot avoid the issue of trying to find a common standard of good and bad. We have, of course, every country, there are laws that define the standard of good and bad. This is necessary for the functioning of society. But it is always changing, and there's always discussions going on. Whatever standard is being established is always challenged by others. And the changes, the standard is always changing. It's a big problem. Actually, the only way to overcome that problem is to accept the standard which has been given by God, what is good and what is bad. Who is qualified to set the standard, to define what is good and what is bad? That is only Krishna who is in that position ultimately. Our founder, Srila Prabhupada, he put it very succinctly when he said, we have no problem understanding who is a rascal. He said, we simply ask him one question. The question is, do you accept Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? If he says no, then we understand here is a rascal. Very simple. Krishna, he gives the standard of good and bad. Krishna speaks in no uncertain terms in the Bhagavad Gita. For instance, in the 7th chapter, he defines who is a pious person, who is an impious person. Actually, he starts with the impious persons. He gives 4 kinds of impious people. He says, those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So, Krishna, he has the right to speak like that. He calls these 4 kinds of people, he calls them miscreants, rascals. And in the next verse, he gives the opposite number. He speaks about 4 kinds of pious people who surrender to him when he says, that is from 7th chapter, text 16. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. So, there are many other places in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna contrasts these two kinds of people in the world. They're also known as devas or demigods and asuras or demons. There's another verse from the Vedic scriptures says that Vishnu Deva, Vishnu Bhakta Parajaiva, Asuras Tatviparyayaha. Demigods, those who are devotees of Vishnu or Krishna, and the Asuras or the demons are just the opposite. So, if we want to actually have an absolute standard of what is good and bad, we have to turn to the Vedic scriptures. Basically, Bhagavad Gita. And that will be very helpful. In this way, we can actually attain peace and harmony in society. Without an absolute standard of good and bad, there is no peace and harmony in human society. So it is very important to actually understand what is good and what is bad. Hare Krishna.